Hello, what's up, guys? How you guys doing? So, a couple of days ago, I saw this on my Facebook feed. Someone shared that. Said that. Yeah, I got. Just working. Just started work in a new company, and the company gives medical coverage from AIA as well. So I can stop paying for my medical card. So of course I read that. I got very worried, and I immediately got in touch with the person to explain the differences and all that lah. But what I realized is that this is something that is widely misunderstood, and I think maybe this is something that not many people know about. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about it so that not many people do the same mistake and be on the losing side of things if something were to happen. So about company coverage, about the employee benefits. One thing that you need to understand is that employee benefits is renewable annually. It's something that the company will pay for every year. So how that works is that it works on a claims ratio. So there is a set amount paid for each employee. That's when they start to take it up lah. But at the when it comes to the time to renew for next year, the insurance company will evaluate and will review the claims ratio for that company and the stuff that it covers. So if the claims ratio is higher than what they anticipated, which is more, the company will be charged a higher amount. So there's a bit of a loading there for the company when they want to renew the policy. This is because when it comes to company coverage, even people with sickness, even people with diabetes, even people with high blood pressure, they are all covered under the company coverage. They are not excluded from this, as opposed to like an individual coverage. So all these people might bring the ratio higher. So this is the insurance company's ways to make sure that they are not unfairly, having to pay for people who are sick all the time. So this is how it's curbed. So this of course brings a lot of uncertainties and worries, especially if you're an employee. So I'll give you an example. This is a real life example of one of our clients. He had been working for the company. It's an oil and gas company for over 20 years. He's like a long time achievement award. Like long time ago, you would have gotten a gold watch already and everything, right? So he's been working there for a long time, and one day he was diagnosed with cancer. So he had to be hospitalized. He was hospitalized, and then of course he got his 3 months MC while he was getting treated. Gone to the hospital, so the company gave him his 3 months off to get better, right? So while he was recovering, while he was getting treated, but after 3 months, when it was clear that he was not gonna be able to come back to work, when it was clear that this is something permanent, he was terminated. He was terminated on the grounds of unable to perform his duties. So because of that, he got a letter. In fact, I have the letter. I've even shared the letter before. Maybe I'll share it down at the comments after this. But basically, what the letter says is, thank you for all your contributions for the company all this while. We appreciate you for everything that you've done. But now, because you are unfit to perform your duties anymore, we are terminating you on that grounds. So yada yada yada. Because of that, he lost his job, which means he lost his income, and also he lost his benefits, the coverage that was treating him for the past 3 months, right? So this guy, of course, was caught in a very bad situation, and this is something that a lot of people don't understand. If you work for a good company that gives you unlimited coverage, it's something that's a lot, and you think that, okay, this is something I can rely on, no worries, they pay for my family, they pay for my kids. It doesn't work that way, because company coverage, it is as good as your ability to work for the company. If you're not able to work for the company, why would the company cover you? And this is explained because of what I said earlier on. It is renewable annually. If the company were to keep all this kind of baggage in terms of sickness, the claims ratio will just go up and up and up, and the company will have to pay more and more and more. So they would not want to keep the people in that stage who especially cannot work for them anymore, because it just doesn't make any financial sense for them. So that is not a good idea. So the same coverage that you think is going to cover you when things are going bad is the same one that you're going to lose when you need it the most. Don't be caught in that situation. So if you have a company coverage, you work for somewhere and suddenly you feel like, oh, I have this, what's the point of having more? It doesn't work the same way. So individual medical coverage, how it works is it is guaranteed renewal. What that means is, if let's say you're diagnosed with something heavy, let's say you're diagnosed with cancer or something, when the next year comes around, as long as you're a continuously paying customer, you don't let it lapse or anything, all the things that you've had before, you still are covered for. So it's something that you can rely on, you can keep for the rest of your life. So that's why the company coverage that you have to treat it like a bonus. It's nice to have. If something happens, you use it as much as you can. You just use the company coverage first. But if it comes to a point where it's not there for you anymore, that's when your individual coverage comes in. So that's the part, and it also would come in terms of limit, because company coverage usually don't have a great limit, and it is also can be changed from year to year. One of the clients that we had, he had an unlimited coverage from the company, but when the economy was not doing good, the company was not doing too good, they revised the coverage, they reduced it to 50,000, from unlimited to 50,000. So can you imagine if you're stuck in a situation where suddenly that happened and then the company reduces the coverage? That's something that you can't rely on anymore. So that's not a situation that is good to be in, because at that point you probably can't take your own one anymore. So you'll be caught in a bad place. So with the limit being insufficient, even if they don't reduce it, let's say you have 20,000 or 50,000, right? And then now with the hospital bills, even an accident also, you've heard the bills cost like 150,000. If your company coverage is 50,000, the other 100,000 is going to come from yourself. So this is something that a lot of people overlook as well. When you have company coverage, take a look, ask from your HR, see what are you eligible for, so that you know what you can claim, and check whether there's co-insurance or not. Because some company coverage, because they want to reduce costs, there's all kinds of plans that's tailor-made for the company. So some of them have co-insurance. What this means is, when you get hospitalized, even if you use the company coverage, you have to pay 10% or something of the bill by yourself. So it's still not free. So might as well you have your own one where there's no co-insurance, right? And the other thing about coverage is, even if you work for the best company in the world that covers you forever and it doesn't go away, what happens if you quit or you move on to other jobs? And in between jobs, while you're still waiting to join the new one, what happens if something happens then? You will not be covered from your previous company, and you will not be covered from the new company yet. In fact, you might not be able to continue to get into the new company in the first place, and at that point you will not be able to take your own one. And the other situation is, what happens if you retire? The same coverage that you've been depending on all these years, and then by the time when you retire at 60 or 65, that's exactly when all these more critical illnesses, all this more serious stuff starts happening to us. So when that's the point where things are happening, that's exactly when you retire, and that's exactly when you can't have this coverage anymore, because you no longer work for the company. So you don't get that anymore. And that at that point, even if you want to take it, if you're healthy, so it's going to be very expensive. If you're not healthy, you just don't have it. And every single sickness when you're older is going to cost a lot, because even right now, medical inflation is about 15% every year. So don't be caught in that situation, and please just treat it as a bonus. Just act like it's nice to have, and not as the primary, because this is something that you keep for the long term. One of the good benefits about AIA coverage is that with the room and board, with the booster, what you can get is the room value actually increases over time. Let's say you start with a room of 250 ringgit. It actually increases the value by 20% every 2 years if you don't claim. So 250 ringgit, after 2 years it will be 300 ringgit. After 10 years, it will be 500 ringgit. So when you have this, while you're using your company coverage in between, you let your own personal medical card grow in terms of value of the room. After 10 years, you have a freshly 500 ringgit worth of room that you can get into. No matter what happens in your company once, you still have this to depend on should anything happen to you. So it's good as well, even if someone's working, you don't think that it's a waste, because while this time that you're working there is going through, you still have this amount. And investment linked products also will increase in value in terms of the savings that you have inside. So there's really not a great reason not to take it early on, especially while you're still healthy. That's about it. I just wanted to share a little bit about that, especially if you're an employee, if you work and you're depending on this coverage. Please don't think that it's permanent. because like I said, it's only as good as your ability to work for the company. And if you think about it a bit more, it makes a lot of sense. It's just that maybe we overlook it, we don't think about it, and yeah, that's why some people get caught in a very bad situation. Yeah, that's about it for me. Been having quite a crazy couple of weeks, but it's been very, very good, and I'm very happy right now. Lots of things are going on. I will share more about that as the weeks go by, but a lot of exciting things happening right now, so I'm looking forward to it. I don't want to say much, so we'll see. I'll talk about it more when it happens, right? So you guys have a great weekend. It's gonna come very soon. Tomorrow's already Friday, and take care. See ya.